What's up guys, Benny here and welcome to my top 7 meta loadouts for Call of Duty Warzone Season 5. I've made this video to make it as easy for you to make sure that you're using the best class setups and loadout combinations that you possibly can, so you can go ahead and get as many wins and kills as possible, because Raven have made a ton of changes to weapons recently, from stealth buffs to the Modern Warfare MP5 to nerfs to weapons like the Krig and the C58. So I've taken all of that into account to give you the best setups possible. And if you are new around here, please do just take a second to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future Warzone content, because there's going to be a ton, especially with Vanguard coming out in the near future. But I want to start off with my first loadout, which is the Stoner paired with the Otis. Now, the Stoner, since a load of the assault rifles have been nerfed, has really come into its element of dominating that mid to long range encounters, because like you get a huge mag size, the damage output is insane, and the recoil is also really manageable. Yes, you lose mobility, but having amped in your class and your loadout is going to help counter that. Now, what you want to be running with a Stoner is you've got that agency suppressor for maximum effective damage range and bullet velocity, but also that vertical recoil control makes it a lot easier just to make sure that you're landing all your shots consistently. Then the 21.8 Task Force barrel. Once again, recoil control, very important, makes it a laser beam and allows you to take on full trios or quads very easily. If you've ever seen me stream, you'll see me use this a lot. I even use this in the World Series of Warzone, and it shreds. It is so good. And then we've got the Field Agent Grip, the 120 round mag, and then we've got the Royal and Cross 4 times. Some people prefer the 3 times, but because I'm using the Stoner for mid to long range only, I use that 4 times just so I can make those small adjustments to get the upper chest, neck, and headshots a little bit easier than with the 3 times. 3 times also works, but then I use the Precision Reticle. Personally, I think it's the best one. I also like the green dot that you get in this season's Battle Pass, which is all the way along here, which is also clean, but that's personal preference. Then I've paired it with the Otis because the Otis is actually one of the fastest time to kill SMGs in the entire game right now. Negatives, it has a small mag size, but it's got a really fast reload time with a build that you're going to be using here. You've got the Groove Suppressor, maximum recoil control, effective damage range, and bullet velocity, as well as sound suppression. The 8.1 Task Force for that strafe speed, effective damage range, and bullet velocity. Strafe speed is so crucial in this game, especially if you're using a controller, because of how aim assist works. And you can get that rotational aim assist, where when you're strafing, it just helps you keep that horizontal recoil under control as you kind of lock onto your opponent. I'll probably make a video in the future about that, how to improve your aim with the controller. But I use the Tiger Team Spotlight, once again, additional movement speed and 8 walking movement speed, and that's why I also use the Spetsnaz stock over the KGB skeletal stock. So already got a really fast sprint to fire speed and ADS firing move speed, but with this you get faster strafe speed, which also makes it so much easier to control the game's aim assist. So use the Spetsnaz stock, and then the VDV 40 round fast mag. Unbelievable loadout. I love this to pieces. Really good in Verdansk, and also pretty good in Rebirth as well if you change it for the 3 times on the Stoner. And I use C4 and a heartbeat sensor, which is pretty standard for me. My perks haven't changed since the introduction of Tempered and Combat Scout. Don't think they really change much. Like there are some fun classes that you can do with like the PKM and snapshot grenades, but personally for me, the meta setup is still EOD, Overkill, Amped, and then get Ghost on the second loadout. Then our second loadout is a pretty standard competitive loadout. This is actually what I used for the majority of the World Series. I also used the Stoner, but the Krig is one of the most reliable assault rifles. It's so easy to use. It's got no recoil, and this is the best setup for it. You want the agency suppressor, a 15-inch CMV mil spec. You don't want the foregrip on that. You want the Field Agent Grip, the 45 round mag, the Axial Arms 3 times. This is really snappy. I don't run the 60 round mag from this because the ADS speed with this is insane and it's so good, really mobile. It was one of the reasons it was really good in customs, but anyone could pick this up and use it. It's so easy to use. You should not have a problem in landing your shots with this. Let me know down in the comments if you do, and I'll see if I can give you some advice or help you out with what you might be doing wrong. But trust me, this is an incredible setup. Then we've got the MAC-10, one of my favorites, sound suppressor, 5.9 Task Force, mounted flashlight, SAS combat stock, and the 53 round drum. Didn't use the agency on this just because I think the extra ADS and sprint to fire speed helps, and because it's got 2 damage profiles rather than 3, that extra 3 meters isn't really worth the agency suppressor, and the recoil is so easy to control on this, so the sound suppressor gets my vote. Love the MAC-10, that SAS combat stock with that strafe speed, which works into the game's aim assist, helps so much. Don't underestimate it, sorry. And it's one of the reasons I'm now using the combat stock over the radar, and I think we're going to see a shift to that as people have become more aware of rotational aim assist in the game. Then we've got EOD Overkill Amped, C4 and heartbeat sensor. Great loadout, love it so much. Now, we've got my sniper setup. The Swiss is hands down, undisputedly, the best sniper in Warzone right now. It's really mobile, really fast ADS. You should not be using any other sniper in Warzone. Like, it's just a fundamental fact. It beats everything hands down. So on the Swiss itself, you've got the GRU suppressor. You then have the 24.9 combat recon barrel for the increased bullet velocity. You've then got the SWAT 5 MW laser to increase that aiming stability, which is what allows you to snap onto an opponent really quickly and get your shot off accurately with faster ADS as well. The Bruiser Grip, which also increases your aiming stability as well as your movement speed, which is always helpful. Then we use the Serpent Grip just to increase that aim down sight time. It's one of the most versatile snipers, really great default scope as well. I love it. I've been having a great time using this on stream. It's just a fun weapon to use. And then I pair that with the Bullfrog. Now you can put any SMG that you want here. The Bullfrog is actually one of the best for damage per mags in the entire game, especially if you land your headshots. Now on this, I run the GRU suppressor, the 7.4 Task Force barrel, once again for that strafe speed, the Tiger Team Spotlight, the KGB skeletal stock, and then the Bruiser Grip. Okay, so the Bruiser Grip and the combination of the Bruiser Grip and the Spotlight give you stupid mobility. Like you become Usain Bolt as you just kind of blitz around Verdansk. And because it's got a default 50 round mag, you don't have to run the ammo. So it means that you can also run the KGB skeletal stock. It's the only one I don't run the PKM because I think it's got enough strafe speed as it is. But trust me, land your headshots with the Bullfrog. Unbelievable. Great combination with the Swiss. But you can also use like the Otis or the MAC-10 if you prefer. But Bullfrog, another great option. As we move on to my fourth loadout, which is the C58 with the Modern Warfare MP5, which has just received a stealth buff, which we'll get onto in a second. But the C58, one of the best base assault rifles. It is trickier to use. Now, there are some weapons like the Krig, which are incredibly easy, right? So they've got no recoil, doesn't take much skill to use them effectively. Then you've got weapons like the C58. Now, if you could control the gun's recoil and know how to just kind of keep it so you're landing up chest and headshots with this, it's the best assault rifle in the game right now. You run the suppressor. You don't need that extra damage range that you gain from the agency. It also makes it really snappy and kind of competes with the Krig in that front. Then you've got the 18.5 Task Force barrel, the Axial Arms 3 times, the Field Agent Grip, and then the 45 round mag. You don't go for like the 55 because you don't want to penalize your aim down sight time, but great setup. And I actually really enjoy using the C58 even after the nerfs that it received, and it is still meta, which is very important. Now, Modern Warfare MP5, very good and a viable option once again. Monolithic Integral Suppressor, 5 MW laser, Merc 4 grip, and then the 10mm 30 round mag, because it is now actually has increased the damage of the Modern Warfare MP5, which is unbelievably good. It's it's got a faster time to kill than pretty much every weapon up to around 10 meters. So it's going to dominate those close range. Yes, you get a 30 round mag, but that is why we run sleight of hand. The reload is really quick. But it's nice to see the change because the 10mm rounds have just kind of been completely ignored since they got introduced, but definitely worth giving a go if you haven't already. Next, we'll go to our fifth loadout, which is one of my favorites at the moment, and it is pure scumbag, right? I think this thing it is the MG82, right? Was broken when it first got introduced, but is once again, since everything's got nerfed, has sort of come back into the meta once again. Really high fire rate, really fast time to kill, and it's just a really fun gun to use because if you want to hold someone down, you can just suppress them with this, and they can't really move. And it's also because of the high fire rate, big margin for error, so you can afford to miss some rounds. The Agency Suppressor, 16.4 Task Force barrel, Axial Arms 3 times, the Field Agent Grip, and the 125 round mag. One thing to be aware of this, if you're trying to take someone off a head glitch, not necessarily the best weapon. Guns like the Krig will beat the MG, but people running across the open or in normal fights, it is unbelievably good, but give it a go if you haven't since the nerfs. Then we've got probably the most broken gun in the game, the Gallo shotgun. Agency Choke, 21.4 reinforced barrel, SOF target designator, SAS combat stock, 12 round tube. You face someone with this in a stairwell or in a building, you're screwed. It can take people out at a distance quite comfortably as well, in like the short range area, but inside of buildings, this is a king. There is a reason custom games have started banning shotguns, and because you cannot beat this inside a building. It doesn't matter if you go slide canceling, jump shotting, drop shotting, this will win in a 1v1 every day of the week. And I expect to start seeing it used a lot more, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's one of the few weapons that hasn't actually been touched with all the recent nerfs. So the shotgun meta is slowly creeping back into Warzone. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Then we've got the M2 with the PPSH. The M2 got added this season. Really good assault rifle. Once again, goes into the same category as the C58. Hard to use, but high reward if you can control it. Agency suppressor, 25.8 task force barrel, field agent grip, 40 round mag, and then the actual arms 3 times. And I pair that with one of my favorite SMGs in the game, which is incredibly underrated, the PPSH. It's got one of the highest damage per mags in the entire game. Modes like Rebirth, this is unbelievable. You can take out entire squads just holding down your trigger, and will still have ammo to spare. But sound suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, Spetsnaz PKM stock, Bruiser grip, and the 71 round mag. Combination of mobility and movement speed, strafe speed, huge mag size, and then that sound suppressor kind of keeps it to a fast sprint to fire and ADS speed. Great weapon and one of my favorites in Warzone right now. Then our final loadout of the video, we've got the QBZ with the Kar98. Now the QBZ is similar to the Krig. Very, very easy to use. And since all the recent nerfs and changes has come into the game's meta, and not enough people are using it right now, but it's got one of the highest KDs for any of the weapons being used right now, because not many people use it, but people who do use it really perform. So you want the agency suppressor, the 15.5 task force barrel, the actual arms 3 times, field agent grip, and then the 60 round drum mag. Best setup for it for like kind of short to mid range, and it does work at long range as well. But for long ranges, I pair it with a sniper. So the Kar98, for example, if you don't want to use the Swiss or don't have the Swiss fully ranked up. Monolithic suppressor, 27.6 SynGuard custom, tac laser, sniper scope, and the ST Vol precision comb. But those are my top 7 meta loadouts for Call of Duty Warzone right now. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you next time for more Call of Duty Warzone. Thanks for watching.